Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. My name is Christian. I'm a student from Southern New Hampshire University. I'm here to conduct this interview with you. Are you comfortable?
Yes, I'm comfortable.
Okay. In short, my first question is, what is the three branches of government?
In my knowledge, there is executive power, there is parliamentary, and there is judicial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does each branch do?
The parliamentary is there to vote for laws. Judiciary is there to implement the laws. And the executive is there to coordinate all powers.
Very good.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you mention a third party?
Yeah, labor.
Labor. Very good. What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
It goes into certain process, like it has to go into parliament. Parliament discuss, and later on it has to go through what we call a referendum. These public people will give out their opinions, then it has to go into parliament again to be approved and to be endorsed.
All right.
Yeah.
That marks the end of my questions. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you.
Welcome to this interview.
Thank you.
Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Yeah. I will ask you some couple of questions. And my first question says, what are the three branches of government?
Three branches.
Yes.
Three branches of government. I think executive, there's legislative. Another one is it judicial? Yeah. I think so.
Okay. You're right. What does each branch do?
Each branch. I think judicial must be dealing with the court. Executive must be dealing with the government or controlling the power. Is it executive?
Yes, fine.
Yeah.
Democrats and Republicans are the major parties. Can you mention a third party?
Opposition party.
All right, that's
Sure.
good.
Yeah.
What is the basic process by which a bill becomes a law?
A bill passes through the government, MPs. So the MPs actually has to go and discuss about it before it is recommended to be a bill. So they vote. The major ones, that means the bill has to be amended to be a law. That means they have to check if the bill affects their citizenship fair.
Very
Citizens, yeah.
Thank you very much for your participation.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Christian Mugendi. I'm a student from Southern New Hampshire University. I'll be recording this video as part of my academic work. This video will be containing the resources that I've cited and some that I've also made on my own based on my personal understanding. As the first question says, what are the three branches of government? The three branches of government are legislative, executive, and judicial. What are the roles each play? Legislative branch is vested in Congress, meaning that it is only part of the government that can make new laws or change existing laws. Executive branch is in charge of making sure that the laws of the United States are obeyed. Judicial branch is the system of federal courts, judges that interpret laws and laws made by the legislative branch and enforces them by the executive branch. How are the branches connected? They are connected because the legislature makes laws, the executive enforces them, and the judicial applies them to the specific case arising out of the breach of law. How do they regulate each other? Based on checks and balances. To be sure that one branch does not become more powerful than the other, the government has a system called checks and balances. Through this system, each branch is given power to check on the other two branches. The president has the power to vote a bill sent from Congress, which would stop it from becoming a law. The legislative branch makes laws, but the president in the executive branch can veto those laws with a presidential vote. The executive branch can declare executive orders, which are the proclamation that carry the force of law, but the judicial branch can declare those acts unconstitutionally. Between the Democrats and Republicans as the major parties. So the third party will be Libertarian Party, which is also working in partnership with the other two parties to enforce the law. There is also the other one called Green Party. Green Party is a green politics, socialism, anti-capitalism, progressiveness, and make sure that it fight against any war that may happen in the country. There are so many other parties, including Constitution Party, which is conservative and also social conservatism happening in the country. Now the question is, how did the two parties get started? There has been a speculation that a two-party system arose in the United States from early political battling between the federalism and the anti-federalism in the first few decades after the ratification of the Constitution, according to several views. Political function of parties began to form during the struggle over ratification of the Federal Constitution of 1787. Friction between the increase as attention shifted from the creation of the new federal government to the question of how powerful that federal government would be. The United States has two dominant political parties historically. There have been few instances in which third-party candidate won an election. Under the second-party system, the Democrats and Republican Party split during the election of 1824 into Adams man and Jackson man. What impact do the minor party have on nation politics? Some of the minor parties may not have a role in a country politically because of their low recognition, vote, and donations. Minor parties often receive very small number of votes and during the election, to the point of losing any candidate nomination deposit. Although third-party candidates rarely actually win election, they can have an effect on them. If they do well, they are often accused of having a spoiler effect. Sometimes they have won votes in the election college, as in the 1832 presidential election. What is the basic by which a bill becomes a law? So a bill becomes a law. For a bill to become a law, it has 7 steps. So step 1, it says the bill is drafted. This means any member of Congress, either from the Senate or the House or representatives, who has an idea for a law can draft a bill. These ideas come from the Congress members themselves or from everyday citizen and advocate groups. The primary Congress member supporting the bill is called the sponsor. The second step, the bill is introduced. Well, after the bill being drafted, then second step says the bill is introduced. Once the bill is drafted, it must be introduced. If the representative is the sponsor, the bill is introduced in the House. If the senator is the sponsor, the bill is introduced in the Senate. Once a bill is introduced, it can be found on Congress Government, which is the official government website that tracks federal legislation. Step 3, the bill goes to committee. As soon as a bill is introduced, it's referred to a committee. Both the House and the Senate have various committees composed of the group of Congress members who are particularly interested in different topics such as health or international affairs. Step 4, subcommittee review of the bill. Subcommittee are recognized under committees and have further specialization on a certain topic. Often, committees refer bills to a subcommittee for study and their own hearings. The subcommittee may make changes to the bill and must vote to refer a bill back to the full committee. Step 5, committee markup of the bill. When the hearings and the subcommittee review are completed, the committee will meet to mark up the bill. They make changes and amends period to recommending the bill to the floor. If a committee votes not to report legislation to the full chamber of process, the bill will die. If the committee votes in favor of the bill, it's reported to the floor. Step 6, voting by the full chamber on the bill. Once the bill reaches the floor, there is additional debate and members of the full chamber vote to approve any argument. The bill is then passed or defeated by the member voting. Lastly, as step 7, referral of the bill to the other chamber. When the House or Senate passes a bill, it is referred to the other chamber, where it is usually followed the same route through committee and finally to the floor. This chamber may approve the bill as received, reject it, or ignore it, or change it Congress may form a conference committee to resolve or reconcile the difference between the House and Senate version of a bill. If the conference committee is unable to reach an argument, the bill dies. If an agreement is reached, the committee members prepare a conference report with recommendations for the final bill. Both the House and Senate must vote to approve the conference report. Step 8. The bill goes to the President. After both the House and Senate have approved a bill in identical form, the bill is sent to the President. If the President approves of the legislation, it is signed and becomes law. If the President takes no action for 10 days while Congress is in session, the bill automatically becomes law. If the President proposes the bill, they may veto the bill. In addition, if no action is taken for 10 days and the Congress has already adjourned, there is a pocket veto. Lastly, step 9, overriding a veto. If the President votes a bill, Congress may attempt to override the veto. If both the Senate and the House passes the bill by a 2/3 majority, the President's veto is overruled and the bill becomes a law. Thank you very much for your understanding. This marks the end of this video recording.